Did you know that 80% of people who lose weight end up gaining it back? If you've ever felt stuck in this cycle, you are not alone and you're actually part of the majority. Today, I'm going to share some strategies to help you understand why relapse happens and how to overcome it. In this video, we'll explore the reasons behind weight gain, but also how you can get back on track. If you find this video valuable, please like and subscribe for more insights on building a healthy lifestyle and losing weight. I'm just going to jump right in to what to do when you're in that place of shame and guilt after a relapse. The easiest way is to get out ahead of it, but if you're in a relapse right now, let's talk about what you can do. Let's break down 5 of the most common scenarios. Number 1, over-restriction resulting in a binge. This is the most common and most complex pattern of relapse, so I'm going to spend a little more time talking about this. Often, binge eaters engage in extreme diet patterns. For example, keto, carnivore, paleo, etc. What I usually uncover with my clients is that the restrictive diet that they did led to them going overboard with super tasty foods, which led to a cascade of binge eating and long-term weight gain. This is the cycle of binge, guilt, restrict, crave, binge. To break this cycle, we're going to need systems and structure and a whole lot of discipline. The way out is simple but not easy. There are 4 steps. Step 1, be okay with feeling awful for like 5 to 10 minutes. Using food to self-soothe usually goes as far back as childhood, which means there are deeper, more subconscious patterns at play that need to be addressed. You need to decide that the feelings you are avoiding with food cannot be avoided anymore. The easiest way to go about this is expecting to feel awful and just kind of being okay with it. I would recommend working with a counselor, psychologist, therapist, or licensed professional in general in this area. Step 2 is labeling the feelings you have in that 5 to 10 minutes of feeling awful. For example, you maybe feel lonely, rejected, misunderstood, worthless, depressed, anxious. If you work with a professional, they will help you uncover these things, or just talking it through with someone you trust, and or journaling works as well. Here are some helpful prompting questions if you are journaling. Number 1, what feeling am I trying to avoid? Number 2, what's the earliest memory I have of this feeling? And number 3, what did I learn about myself just now? Step 3 is to give your full undivided attention to the feeling. For example, if you feel the urge to binge because you spent all day helping everyone and you finally have a moment to yourself, you're probably feeling exhausted, resentful, disconnected, and misunderstood. Giving your full attention to these feelings means sitting for 5 to 10 minutes, writing down, I feel overspent, lonely, frustrated, misunderstood. And this process is very uncomfortable and unpleasant at first. Step 4 is determining what action to take. The feeling you have when you want to binge is usually a sign that you are hungry for connection, a sense of belonging, a feeling of purpose and contribution, and generally things that make you feel happy in your own skin and connected to the people around you. Here's a list of actions you can take to move towards these values. Number 1, reach out to a friend or therapist you trust to talk about your feelings. Number 2, turn your focus onto a creative project like painting, sewing, singing, dancing, reading, horseback riding, whatever. Number 3, go for a walk and look up at the sky to calm your nervous system. Number 4, have a conversation with someone that you've been putting off for a long time. Number 5, cleaning or tidying your space, like doing dishes, dusting, vacuuming, organizing cluttered areas. After you do these 4 steps, be okay with feeling awful, labeling how you feel, give those feelings your full attention, and then taking aligned action. If you still want to eat, then eat. And just know that if you make a habit out of following these steps, every time you feel the urge to binge, the binges will become less frequent. Following these steps is easier said than done and will take focus and discipline. It may be the hardest thing you've ever done. Like I said before, I would highly recommend reaching out to a licensed professional for additional support and guidance for binge eating disorders and addictive behaviors. Another very important point before I move on is that your intention in doing these steps is not to avoid a binge. It is to learn about yourself and, more importantly, learn how to be kind and attentive to yourself, even if you don't like yourself very much right now. The number 2 cause of relapse is events and social gatherings. Events and gatherings may be the perfect recipe for relapse. To get out ahead of the relapse when it comes to social gatherings, have a very clear focus and direction of how you want things to play out. For example, decide beforehand exactly what you will be ordering, which foods you will eat, and have some calories saved up. Events where there are bowls of food just sitting around can be tough because there's no way to really know how much you've eaten. So in this case, I would recommend making a plate and eating just what's on the plate, and or standing far away from the food table and engaging in conversation with people you like. To get back on track after an event, have a morning after health checklist. The purpose of a morning after checklist is to direct your focus back to actions that are in your best interest so that you can move forward. For example, wake up, drink water, go for a walk, think of things to look forward to, forgive yourself, get back on track. Your brain will go straight into shame spiraling depending on how the event played out. So the list helps because you can kind of go into autopilot with action while making room for feelings of failure. I actually had a call with a client the other day where she was describing a family gathering she was dreading because her grandmother always commented on her weight and her relatives had poor eating habits, and she felt like she had finally gotten consistent, so she didn't want to relapse. We talked about some useful ways that she could respond to comments about her weight, some easy food options to bring, such as protein bars, fruits and vegetables, and we also created a checklist to help her get back on track the day after. And it worked pretty well. The number 3 cause of relapse is vacations. When you are on vacation, try to enjoy yourself and be in the moment. When you get home, expect that it will be challenging to get back into consistent healthy habits. Have a post-vacation plan, for example, to get back on track with walking and food tracking within the first week. Watch my video titled 20-Week Weight Loss System, and you'll see that this is essentially just beginning at phase 1 and building up from there. It will be harder to get back on track if the vacation is long and within the 3-month window of you starting your weight loss journey. If you are beginning your weight loss journey now and you have a vacation within the next 3 months, I would recommend watching my 20-week weight loss system video to get an idea of how to create a phase-by-phase approach to weight loss. Learning to have a phase-by-phase approach to getting back on track is not only very sustainable, but it's also just a good way to approach any goal. The number 4 cause of relapse is poor systems and unclear goals. Poor systems are simply goals that have a lot of gray area. If your goal going into your weight loss journey is to lose 200 pounds in a year and you're just gonna work out as much as possible and eat as little as possible, that is not a realistic or clear plan. The solution to this is clear, black and white goals and daily direction. So, how do we make a clear system? Thank you for asking. The SMART acronym will help with clear planning to minimize relapse. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Get out a pen and paper and follow along with me here. S stands for specific. This is where you clearly state exactly how much weight you want to lose. For example, lose 200 pounds. M stands for measurable. How will you be measuring your progress? For example, a bathroom scale once a week, body measurements once a week, or photos once a week, or maybe all 3. A stands for attainable. This is where you clearly state the habits you are committing to attain this goal. For example, eating within a calorie budget and walking 8,000 steps a day. R stands for realistic. This is where we clearly state the realistic weekly results we want, which is a weight loss of 1 to 2 pounds per week, which is the evidence-based sustainable figure for weight loss right now. But it may be higher for those who have more weight to lose. Start with 1 to 2 pounds for now. T stands for timely. Clearly state how long this goal will take to achieve based on the 1 to 2 pounds per week weight loss, which in this example would be about 4 years. With this SMART system, the path forward is very clear. What I will often do with my clients is set a long-term 1 to 5 year goal and a short-term 3 to 6 month goal. This can help to limit feelings of overwhelm and keep you focused. With a clear system in place, like this SMART goal system, relapse is minimized. But you will have setbacks. It's just way easier to get back on track when you know exactly what you need to do and it feels clear instead of gray and muddy. Put these goals somewhere you will see them every day, like your fridge. The number 5 cause of relapse is an environment that doesn't support your new habits. Your weight loss journey would be a lot easier if we could just transport you magically from the environment that you're in currently to an environment that is conducive to success. However, that is simply not possible. Once you decide that you want to be different, it's a process of gradual unfolding, not something that happens all at once. Our environment is made up of the people we see, where we live, how we speak, what we think, what food we have access to, and so much more. The key to creating an environment that supports you is knowing the difference between what is in your control and what isn't. For example, you will be much more likely to relapse if you have a bunch of junk food in your pantry compared to if you have mostly healthy whole foods. You will also be much more likely to relapse if you spend your time with people who see your new commitments as a threat to their own way of living and react with subtle jabs and mockery. And for one more example, you are much more likely to fall off track if you have very little self-esteem and spend most of your time hiding or scrolling social media or watching Netflix. Getting back on track after a relapse related to your environment is simple. Make changes to your environment through methods that are within your control. Stop buying junk food, nurture relationships with people who have your best interests in mind, pack away your TV, schedule things that get you out of your comfort zone, like joining a walking group or volunteering. Place visual reminders in your living space, like a healthy habit checklist on your fridge, fresh fruits and veggies on your table, and artwork that makes you feel calm and happy. Above all, make sure that you have access to a supportive community. It can be the difference maker of your success or failure in staying on track. One of my clients, Katie, struggled with binge eating and extreme hunger since she was 6 years old. On our first call, she told me that she wanted to lose 150 pounds and that she was on hold for a weight loss surgery. It became very clear to me that Katie felt a lot of pressure from her family members and felt like nothing she ever did was good enough. And she was struggling to juggle working to support her family and being the main caretaker of her elderly and very sick grandmother, as well as going to 3 to 5 doctor's appointments every week to treat her various chronic health issues. These circumstances were making it very hard for Katie to stick to any sort of routine because she was constantly stressed out with all this physical and emotional weight and pressure she was carrying. Not to mention, prior to working with me, she had a very bad experience working with a coach that had her on a very restrictive diet. I want to focus on a turning point conversation Katie and I had just a month into working together. We were booked for a call, and she messaged me saying that she appreciated the help, but that the program just wasn't working and she wanted to quit. This wasn't a surprise to me because I noticed that she wasn't tracking food or engaging with the group very much, which are common behaviors for people who are relapsing. We got on our call, and I could immediately tell that Katie was very uncomfortable. She was having trouble speaking, and her body language was really closed off, and she told me that she was sorry for not tracking and that she didn't think the program was right, but that she appreciated my effort. I knew there was something beneath the surface that Katie was feeling a lot of shame about. So I took a step back, and this is what I said. Katie, I know you feel like you have failed, and that's okay. I want you to know that even though you haven't measured up to your own standards, I don't think you're a failure. In fact, you showing up to this call and having this conversation with me is very courageous. Investing in me as a coach is very courageous. You haven't failed, and there is no program. You are the program. Your life is the program. And you can't fail at life. You can only move forward. My only expectation of you is that you keep doing exactly what you have been doing, which is show up and taking this journey one day at a time. Today, after 9 months of taking it one day at a time, Katie has lost nearly 100 pounds. It is not easy, and we do still relapse from time to time, but Katie now sees relapse as part of the process, and so it doesn't control her, and she always has a plan and support from me and the community to get back on track. The key to losing weight and keeping it off is leaning into discomfort and planning for relapse while having a plan to get back on track. Binge eating is uncomfortable. Being around people who make you feel like garbage is uncomfortable. Not being able to fit into old clothes is uncomfortable. Looking in the mirror and not liking your reflection is uncomfortable. Weight loss is also uncomfortable. Overcoming relapse means choosing the discomfort that serves you better in the long term. I'd love to hear about your experiences with weight regain. Share your stories in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more strategies on maintaining a healthy lifestyle. You can sign up for my free live weight loss training by clicking the link below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.